Hello students, welcome to the online classes and this is your name Miss. Hello students, welcome back to the online classes of physics. As we have completed matter around us a part, like we have completed the states, different states of matter, what is matter, and we have completed the shapes and volumes of these solid, liquid and gases, and we have completed compressibility, and we have even completed the diffusion of liquids, right? Diffusion of liquids. Today we will go with diffusion of gases. We have learned how the particles get diffused, like solid particles will get diffused into liquids, and we have even learned how the liquid will get diffused into liquids. I have already explained you through some activities. I hope you remember. If you don't remember, please go back to the videos whichever I've already sent you before, and once try to recollect the matter, the content again, and then come back to the video, the today's video, and you just try to understand the topic again. So today we have to discuss about the diffusion of two gases. We have learned about the diffusion of solid getting dissolved, diffused into the liquid. We have learned about the liquid getting diffused into liquid. Today we are going to learn about the diffusion of two gases. Okay, we are going to learn about the diffusion of two gases. Okay, so today we are going to learn about the diffusion of two gases. So let us have a long tube with a scale reading on it. Okay, so we'll take one long tube with a reading on it. Okay, we'll mark some readings on it. We'll have some readings here. Okay. We'll have some two scales with a reading on it, and we will take a liquid solution of ammonia and hydrochloric acid, pieces of cotton, and we'll take two rubber corks and a pair of tongue. Okay, so what we will do here, we will take a test tube. In this we will just soak the cotton balls. We will take whatever cotton balls we are taking, we will soak these cotton balls into, one of them we will soak in ammonia. Okay, one of them we will soak in ammonia, and other one we will soak in HCl, hydrochloric acid. Okay, then what we'll do, one of them we will place this, one of the cotton here, one we will place here, we will place one HCl cotton here, and we will place one ammonium cotton, ammonia cotton this side. Okay, now what we have to see, that after some time you will see one, ring formation. Okay, here one ring formation will take place. So what do you observe? We observe that a small ring is formed here. Okay, we observe a small ring is formed here. So why do you think that this ring is formed? This ring is formed because some gas is getting released from here and some gas is getting released from here, which are combining and reacting together and forming a ring. Now which gas do you think? The hydrochloric acid gives out hydrochloride gas, and ammonia solution gives off ammonia gas. Okay, so hydrochloric acid will give you hydrochloride gas, and this ammonia will give rise to ammonia gas, and both these gases will react at a point and will form a ring. Okay, this is the white ring is formed here. Okay, just for your differentiation I have marked it with some different color here, pink color, but it doesn't mean that white pink color ring will form. A white color ring will be forming here due to the formation of ammonium chloride. okay, due to the formation of ammonium chloride gas. Okay, students, have you understood very clearly? Now, just tell me the answer. How did the two gases travel along the tubes? How did the two gases travel along the tubes? Yes, it has traveled towards each other. Okay, how they have traveled towards each other? The HCl has traveled towards ammonia gas. So they have traveled towards each other, not in the different direction. They have traveled towards each other. Which gas traveled faster? Can you tell me which gas has traveled faster? Of course, ammonia gas. Why? Because see the distance. HCl is still here only, it has not yet reached far. But ammonia, it has reached a long distance. So that means ammonia gas has the speed, more speed, right? So ammonium gas has traveled more far. So as we have started with our discussion by recalling that water exists in three states, we must have seen many other materials that can exist in different states. For example, you can see that whenever like it is winter, you will see that coconut oil will turn into solid. But usually the coconut oil is liquid, isn't it? So when it is winter, you see that oil changes into a solid form. And uh, but again on heating it will again change into liquid form. Similarly, you know kapoor, like aarti kapoor, which we use in the aartis of gods, right? So kapoor is a solid form, but when we leave it in open air, you can see that it will directly change into gas, isn't it? So that means there is a change in shape, and that means the matter, that is whatever the liquid form is, that is changing into solid, and whatever it is solid form, it may change into a liquid form, isn't it? So change in shape will definitely take place. Okay, so as we have learned what is matter actually, so I've said that matter is made up of different tiny materials, right? It looks very simple, no? What is matter? Matter is made up of different simple materials, but actually it is very difficult to learn, right? Very difficult to understand it, very difficult to explain it. And for this I'll explain you one of the activity. So we'll go with the activity. So what we are going to do, we are going to take here the some two crystals of potassium permanganate. Okay, we will take potassium permanganate crystals. Okay, we will take potassium permanganate crystals. Okay, and what we will do, we will add it in one beaker. Okay, we will take and we will add in one beaker. We will add in one beaker. What we will do, we will again take this, we will take this potassium, we'll mix it nicely properly, and we will take this mixture into another, like we will take a little amount, like we will take 10 ml. Okay, so suppose we are taking this 100 ml of solution. Okay, 100 ml of solution, and from this we are taking 10 ml and transferring into this clear water. Okay, this is clear water, it is very clear water, it is not having anything. When you are adding this, it will change into this color. Okay, when you are taking, it is changing into some color. Then again what we are doing, we are taking this 10 ml solution, again we will take this 10 ml solution and transfer this 10 ml solution into again one clear water beaker. Okay, this is clear water beaker, and we are transferring this solution into this. So there is a slight change in the color. Okay, slight, suppose it is here dark pink color, it is getting converted into light pink. Okay, not too light also, it's just a pink color. Okay, then this again we are taking 10 ml of the same solution and transferring it into another beaker, which is containing again 100 ml of simple water, clear water. So again you can see there is a light color of potassium permanganate, but still it appears. Okay, still the color appears. Again we will take the 10 ml solution, again we will transfer into another beaker. So this process continues till you get a clear solution. That means one crystal, you can see just we have added 2 crystals of potassium permanganate. Just 2 crystals of potassium permanganate is turning the solution into 100 ml of solution into dark color, right? But again, when we are taking the same 10 ml of solution and getting transferred one by one into another beakers which are containing clear water solution, clear water, you can see that the color is getting decreased. Okay, it is becoming light in color, but still it is having the color in it, right? That still there the potassium permanganate crystals are still present there. Okay, that means the one crystal of potassium permanganate consists of so many tiny particles, that's why whenever you are even giving the passing out the solution to another test tubes also, it is not like finishing up, it is not getting colorless solution, still you are getting some or the other like some particles still you can find it is present, right? But then I have one more question here. After understanding this, that there these crystal particles are getting transferred to, whenever they are getting transferred also, one small crystal is having so many particles in it. But still, I have one doubt here. I think you all also have this doubt. How it is getting transferred? Like, is there any space between the particles? Whether they are getting, how they are getting mixed up, how they are getting fixed there. Okay, so for this again we will do one more like activity. I'll explain, like let us do, there exists some space between the particles or not. Okay, so does the space exist between these particles? Like see, we have learned about the liquid getting diffused into liquid, solid getting diffused into liquid, gases getting diffused into gases, and liquid getting diffused into gases. All these things we have learned, right? So how does they get diffused? We have to know that also. So what we'll do, we'll take one beaker. Okay, in this beaker we will have some water. Okay, we will pour some water and you measure the level of water. Suppose this is the level of water, we have marked the level of water, and to this we will add some salt. Okay, we will add some salt. Now after adding salt, we will see that whether the level of water in this is same or not. We will see whether the level of water is same or not. So if it is same, that means then where has the salt gone? Isn't it? If the water level is same, then whatever salt you have added, where did it go? That means there exists some space between the particles. Suppose the water molecule is there, in this some in between the particles there exists some space. What this salt will do, what the salt particles will do, they will go and get fixed in the space. Wherever the space is available, they'll just go and fix up in the space and they will form a tight bond, isn't it? So that means there exists some space. If you go on adding salt, then you will definitely come to know. Similarly, sugar also, when you add sugar into the water, does the level increases or decreases? What happens? Similarly, the sugar molecules also fix up in the go and fix up in the space whatever is available, right? So then they form a strong bond between them, and then the level of water does not increases, but the sugar particles go and fix up or go and bond with the water molecules, and they form a strong bond, and there whatever gap is present between the space is present between the particles, they go and occupy it, and thus we can say that there exists some space between the particles, and these other particles go and occupy the space, and thus they form a bond, isn't it? And then that means with this we can say that diffusion takes place like this. Whatever the solid particles, like you can say um, solid particles, as I already have explained you, solid particles are strongly bond, so there is a less space between the solid. Okay, you can say that there is a less space between the solid particles are fixedly, like they have attached like this. Okay, so you can say that there is a less space between the solid particles. So whatever space here is available, they can go and fix up there only. Okay, they can form a bond between this space only. Whereas in liquid, you can see that liquid, there exists some more space when compared to the solid particles. You can see they are freely moving. Okay, they are freely moving, so that means there is comparatively there is more space between the particles between the solid and liquid. Solid is comparatively more bond hardly when compared to the liquid, isn't it? When we go with the gas particles, you can say that gases are more very highly separated. They are very highly separated. Particles are very far away from each other. That means a lot of space is present when compared to the solid and liquid. Okay, when solid is space is very less compared to the liquid, whereas in gases you can find more space available. So now with this you can easily say that the solid particles are very slow in getting diffused, whereas liquid particles can get easily diffused when compared to the solid, whereas gases are very easily diffusible. Okay, so for example, if you remember, like solid, when we are dissolving in the liquid, it will take some time, isn't it? Some time it will take. Whereas liquid you can see they will dissolve easily. That also doesn't matter, they don't take much time. Whereas gas, for example, if I say the incense sticks, okay, agarbatti, when you just lighten up, you can see that fastly the smell starts spreading in your house. Or you can say when your mama is cooking something, you can see that smell starts immediately spreading up in the atmosphere. So that is, you can say that the gas particles get easily dissolved or diffused. I'm sorry, it's not dissolved. Dissolve we use for liquid. Gas particles, they get easily diffused in the atmosphere.